What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. If you don't know who I am, that means you're new. I'm Mark. What's good with y'all? Go check out my other videos. Check them out. Check them out. But stay on this one. I think y'all are going to like this one. So I was sitting there thinking the other day, and I remember this is actually the same day I came up with the idea of, you know what? I have to do more caliber videos. I have to talk about more calibers and whether they're good for self-defense or not, because that's what the people really want. That is what you guys really want, and I'm going to deliver to y'all. So I thought about it. I'm like, what is one round I have not talked about yet? And there's a shit ton of them. So it's not, it's not get this confused, guys. We have an entire book with damn near every caliber in existence. Okay, it's insane. All right, but one I haven't talked about, y'all saw the thumbnail, read the title, you know what the video is about. 12 gauge. Is it good for self-defense? Now, here's the thing. When we're talking about 12 gauge, there's varying different types of 12 gauge ammo. You got birdshot. Let's see. So we got some Federal 2 3/4. Wait, is that 2 3/4? Yep, 2 3/4 inch birdshot right here. See here. You got buckshot right here. Let's see if y'all can see that a little better. There we are. Buckshot. Fiocchi double out buck, 2 3/4 inch. You also got slugs. That is not something you want to get hit by. Neither really these two, but I mean, I'd rather get hit by a birdshot than a slug, I guess, but I'd rather also get hit by a birdshot than buckshot. You know what I mean? I'll get into it. All right, I'll get into it. So I'm sure some of y'all who are kind of new to firearms are wondering, well, what's really the difference? Birdshot is a bunch of little ass small, super small pellets, super duper small pellets. And as the name would suggest, the round was, if I'm not mistaken, the round was originally created to hunt birds. Now we move on to buckshot. Buckshot. If you take a look, hold up, see if I can get a good angling for y'all. There we are. Those pellets are they're not so small. They're not so small. This is this is more so what you would want to use, in my opinion. As the name would guess, good for hunting bucks. Very good for self-defense as well. Very, very good. Great round, right? So we're already looking at 2 separate rounds right here. Just, we got a bunch of little BBs. We got, not a bunch, but around 9, 10, bigger, we'll say BBs to, be nice, but yeah. So then we move on to slugs. That is one whole projectile. Let's make that clear. That is what is going to be hitting you. All right. So, I thought about it and I was like, I can't just do my standard for self-defense situations, considering what round we're working with. 12 gauge is an awesome round. It's got a variety, as we can see here. However, what I can do is give each of the rounds that I have right here on me, and I'll even go one step further. I'll even add mini shells in just to be nice. I can give all 4 of those their own 4 self-defense situations right there. And you know what I mean? That'll be a better rundown for you guys, because there's so many different types of 12 gauge ammo. It is ridiculous. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to start with the mini shells. Now, mini shells, I don't have one here. However, they are exactly what you would imagine. Mini shotgun shells. They are just shorter. They have less pressure and power behind them. So it basically just a neutered round. All right, so let's go and get into it. We're going to start with home defense. Mini shells, they are, as I said, very neutered. They're not very great when it comes to the stopping power that you would want with a shotgun round. Now, technically speaking, there is a pro to mini shells, and, it's honestly the only pro, in my opinion, is you get a higher capacity. That's just a plain and simple matter of fact. Now, does a higher capacity necessarily make up for the amount of power that you are now lacking, that you shouldn't be with the round that you have? No, not in my opinion at all. The whole point of a shotgun is to be a man stopper. If you're having to use a bunch of mini shells to stop somebody, it's not doing the job that it's supposed to. So while I think it can do the job in a home defense situation, I don't think it's going to be the best for it. Now, of course, I'm not saying it can't, but it's definitely not going to be the best for what you'd want, especially for the rounds that you could choose from out of these four. So it's not going to get that great of a score for me on home defense. Mini shells are definitely not where you would want to go with it. So let's go ahead and move on from home defense on the mini shells, right? We're going to go ahead and do home defense birdshot. Now, I hear a bunch of different things when it comes to whether or not you should use birdshot for self-defense. My personal opinion is I don't think it's the best. Why? Because I've seen videos, and granted, let's make this clear, guys. I understand that the chances of getting shot with a shotgun and you're still really around kicking is not very, very high. However, the whole point of owning firearms is to take that, oh, what if this does happen, and be prepared for it. You know what I mean? So, me personally, I wouldn't, choose birdshot as my self-defense rounds out of my 12 gauge, that's for sure. However, what I can say is that I have also heard people say it does them just fine. Now, whether or not they've actually needed to use it is a whole nother situation, because you can say it's done you just fine and never needed to use it. That's a different situation entirely. However, though, this generally speaking is also lacking a level of stopping power to it. It definitely has more stopping power than a mini shell. I can say that without a doubt. However, it just doesn't have the stopping power I would look for when it comes to a shotgun round. It definitely will do some damage. There's no doubt about it. It will do a good job at peppering the home intruder, if you will. It will do a great job at it. Not to mention, birdshot is cheap. So cheap. So, yes, I mean, I can see why some people would think that this is a good idea in certain aspects. You know what I mean? It's cheaper, so you can drop it right there. It's cheaper, so you can get a good amount more, so you can practice with it more. So, I mean, there are some pros to it. It does have more of a stopping power than mini shells do, but there are also cons to it. It doesn't have the power that you would want, realistically speaking, to come out of a shotgun. Now, with that being said, can it do the job? Yes. Will it? I can't say for sure. I cannot. I can't. Now, with that being said, let's go with, for mini shells, I can honestly say I give it about 4.5. 4.5 out of 10 for home defense. Birdshot, you're getting about a 6. You know what I mean? Let's go ahead and move on to buckshot, double aught buck, right? This is, anybody who knows anything about shotguns, you already know what I'm about to say. This will do a great fucking job. It will do a great job. No doubt about it. No arguing. It has the stopping power needed. Literally, look, guys, same size, 2 3/4 inches. So if this is going to have more stopping power and do a better job than this, and these are the same size, so it's not like having this over this is going to affect your magazine capacity or anything like that. Why would you not go for this? Why would you not go for something that's going to stop somebody? Why would you not choose buckshot over birdshot? I don't know. Me personally, I just don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. Am I meant to? Who knows? Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. I don't know at the moment. But what I can say is it makes no fucking sense. This shit definitely has the stopping power you would want. Buckshot, double aught buck, get it. That's what you're going to want for a home defense situation. It will do a great job. The stopping power is there. So if you do hit your target, which you should be able to in a home defense situation with your shotgun, you're going to do the job of stopping the threat in its tracks. Now, with that being said, I think for, home defense, buckshot gets a solid fucking, I don't know, 8.5. I'll say 8.5. I'll say 8.5. We're going to go ahead and move on to slugs now for home defense. as I said before, this is one whole projectile. This will put a decent sized hole in the poor son bitch that break into your home. That's the truth here. Now, in my opinion, would I choose slugs over buckshot? Who knows? Who knows? I mean, it depends on the situation. For home defense, probably not. I mean, realistically speaking, it's I don't think slugs are a bad option. However, I don't think they're as good of an option as buckshot. I still believe they are for sure better than birdshot or mini shells. There's no arguing that. All right. Slugs, though, they got the stopping power, guys. I promise you they do. All right. They're going to leave a hole in somebody that's going to make you question whether or not it was just this. It'll do a great job. So there's no argument about that. However, I will say, I do believe buckshot will do a better job. Why? Because instead of just one big projectile, I'm hitting them with about 9 or 10-ish, 9mm-ish size fucking slugs right here. Or not slugs, sorry. Fucking BBs. Brain just farted right there. 9 or 10 fucking damn near 9mm projectile size fucking BBs. Yeah, I think that'll do a better job in my opinion. So with that being said, slugs on a scale of 1 to 10, they get, I'll give them solid 8. Solid 8. You know, as I said, they're great. Great round. However, I just think buckshot, in my opinion, is going to be a better option for a home defense situation. Now, let's move on to concealed carry. This is where it's kind of a difficult thing to, really talk about here for any of these. Why? Because, well, they're shotgun rounds. Who's concealed carrying a shotgun? Tell me, it's not a very common occurrence, right? So I'll be honest, I think we can just say that these guys all got an even grade, right? I don't know. We might not even add that when we do the totals, but it's not something that you're exactly going to be doing very often. But let's say if you are doing it very often, I don't think mini shells or birdshot or even buckshot will be the best option. I think, maybe buckshot. Because buckshot doesn't have the most spreadage. People like to think if you just shoot any shotgun rounds, it'll spread. That's birdshot. Buckshot spreads at about 1 inch a yard, I believe. So, who knows? But none of these are really going to be good for a concealed carry situation because who the fuck is concealed carrying a shotgun? So let's go ahead and move on from that. Let's go and move on to shit hits the fan. So in an SHTF situation, this is one of the things where 12 gauge shotguns, they are very well sought after for situations like this. And the reason why is because of the variety of rounds it takes. Think about it like this. If I were to, go knock on Adam's door real quick. Hey, bro, let me borrow your Maverick 88. Yep, here. I can load all 3 of these bitches back to back. I can mix them up. Hell, I'm not going to try juggling. I know I can juggle, but I'm not going to try doing it. I've never juggled it. But my whole point is I can mix them up. I can mix them up. And doesn't matter what order they are, I can still load them all in and they will all feed and function. Let's see what order. Oh, not a bad order. Buckshot, slug, birdshot. Okay, not a bad order, I guess. He's starting off strong. You feel me? But my whole point is that, yeah, that's one of the great things about 12 gauge shotguns is that there are so many different types of rounds that it makes it a very versatile weapon for a shit hits the fan scenario. You can hunt whether it's birds, you can hunt whether it's bucks. Oh, no, that's slug shit. Bucks. There we are. It's been one of those days, guys. But all right, so it's a very versatile round for a situation like that, considering it's got so many different uses. Now, I will say, let's go ahead and run it through out of, I guess if we had to choose one, which one I believe would be the best. When it comes down to hunting, honestly, all of them could really do a good fucking job. It depends on what you're hunting. Smaller game, you want to go for birdshot. Larger game, buckshot or slugs, whatever. You know what I mean? But it's none of them really are better than the other in this situation, as they all are kind of just very, very helpful. So that's why, if you hear a lot of people when they're talking about Shit-San and what guns they recommend, a lot of times they recommend a 12 gauge pump shotgun. Why? Because of the versatility of the rounds. So overall, honestly, I'm going to give all three of these motherfuckers a 10. Fuck it. Because let's be realistic here. In the situations that these are good in, like for example, better in hunting small game, better in hunting large game, or both are better in hunting large game, better for self-defense. But if you were to try using these on small game, it is going to be overkill. So therefore, this is very fucking useful. So I'm going to give them an even grade in this particular situation. You know what I mean? I'm going to give them all a 10 in this. They all do phenomenally in their own little jobs in this situation. And that's one of the great things about 12 gauges, as I said. So with that being said, let's go ahead and move on. I don't even know why I didn't even talk about the mini shells and that. But let me go ahead and do that real quick, actually, before I move on, right? The mini shells, I'm sure they will do a decent job if you have to hunt something maybe incredibly small. I don't fucking know. All right, I really don't know. I honestly don't think they're going to be truly useful, in my opinion. If somebody can find a use for them in a Shit-San scenario, good for you. But in all reality, I think they're going to be useless because the three main rounds, in my opinion, you're going to need for 12 gauge in a Shit-San scenario: birdshot, buckshot, slugs. That's all. That's what I think you're going to need. And I'm perfectly okay with standing by that by myself. But so let's go ahead and move on to the final situation: nature defense. All right. So for those of y'all who are new to the channel, what is nature defense? Nature defense is to having to defend yourself from animals that you might find out in any form of nature. Now, of course, because not all of us live out in, places where there are forests or mountains or whatever, right? I do also include, one of the most common situations that you find in the city when it comes to defending yourself from an animal, which is some dumbass whose dog got loose and is trying to attack you. I include it in every nature / wilderness defense situation because it is a very common occurrence. So let's go ahead and move forward. Let's start with mini shells in a nature defense situation. For a smaller animal, not small, but I guess technically medium-sized animal, if you're having to defend yourself from like a dog or something, as I said, it'll probably do the job. It will probably do the job. I'm not going to say that it won't. I could make the same argument for a coyote. Wolf, maybe. I'm a little iffy on that, as wolves are bigger. They, not the same size as a dog, so we can't really compare the two like that. But it could maybe do the job. However, with larger animals, you are better off honestly fucking running. If you want the truth, you might even be better off just trying to beat the goddamn animals with the fucking with the butt of your shotgun. You really might just be better off throwing the shotgun at them. Who knows? You know what I mean? But yeah, you're not going to do a great job against a larger animal like a bear, alligators, things like that you are really going to have to worry about. Oh, fuck, right? So with that being said, I think it gets I don't know, kind of a 5, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy because the mini shells, the only thing they're really good for, in my opinion, is just, and this is a kind of a iffy, like it's good in certain aspects, but not in all aspects. They can be good for training. That's really it. But let's go ahead and get past that. As we can see from an overall grade for the mini shells, they are not looking good at all. I'm going to be fair enough to give the mini shells even a fair 10, even though that is not what they deserved in the Shit-San scenario. So I'm going to be fair because I said I'd give them all 10s. All right. So realistically speaking, who think the mini shells are like at a 4 for a total, something like that, maybe a little less. Birdshot, For nature defense, it'll do a better job, in my opinion, than mini shells for sure, just because of the higher pressure. Peppering up the animal might honestly scare the living shit out of it, which you would think it would do with most people, right? But but whatever. It'll do the job against small animals for sure. Like not small, I guess technically, but large dogs, coyotes. It should do the job against a wolf. From what I know, at least. If the actual fucking BBs in here don't do the job, chances are the wad will do the job. But it should do a better job than mini shells will to protect yourself against animals like that. However, it still doesn't really compare for larger animals like bears. Honestly, I haven't even brought this up in the last one. Moose, fucking so much shit. Bucks. You got so many different things that this round just wouldn't really compare to, or wouldn't have the capability of stopping. So while it does good for what it does, I'm gonna have to give this one about a 7. 7.5. All right. So with the mini shells out of 4, as a total, let me see here. Looking at about, honestly, I don't even remember what the hell I gave the first grade for the home defense for the bird shot. I'm gonna say I gave bird shot a 7 on home defense. I think 7. The hell did I just give this one? I think I gave it a 7 as well. 24. You got a 6. So 4 for mini shells, 6 for bird shot. And yeah, I'm actually legitimately doing the math here for y'all in front of y'all, so you can have like a final number to be like, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, what is, you know what I mean? So mini shells we got at a 4 out of 10, right? Bird shot, 6 out of 10. Buckshot. So this is where it's going to get, a little more interesting. We're not even really interesting, just it's going to be similar to what you guys have been hearing from me, right? So buckshot will do a great job. It will do phenomenal. Allow me to explain. So medium-sized animals like a large dog, coyote, wolves, it will definitely fucking stop them. I have no doubt in my mind it'll stop them. Bucks, moose, it should stop a moose. If I'm not mistaken, I mean, if I'm mistaken, then I'm mistaken. But larger animals, bears, alligators, is going to do a much better job of stopping the threat of those animals than any of the other rounds I have mentioned before when it comes to nature defense. So it's going to do better than bird shot and mini slugs. No argument about that. Look, I really wish, if this was not my ammunition, or excuse me, no, if it was my ammunition, sorry, it's been one of those days. If this was not my ammunition, if it was my ammo, I would honestly just cut this open so that way you guys can see the fucking size difference. But yeah, guys, you gotta trust me here. It's a hefty size difference in the BBs in here and the BBs in here. So with that being said, I can truthfully say that I give buckshot for nature defense, I give it a fucking 8.5. Yeah, I think 8.5 will do a good job on that. So with 8.5 of that puts buckshot at so about 6.5. 6.5, right? And I'm sure some of y'all wondering, oh wait, hold up. Yeah, about 6.5. 6.5. And here's the thing, guys. I want to point this out right now because I actually haven't pointed this out once in the video. None of these are ever going to be at a full 10 out of 10. Let's be clear, guys. None of these rounds, any round I go over is really never going to be a 10 out of 10. There's always going to be something that, some people are going to find wrong with it. So it's never going to be a true 10 out of 10 no matter what. All right. Another thing that's going to affect it is we don't have high capacities with shotguns. It's not a very common thing. So let's make this clear. I will say capacity, in my opinion, is about 2 points. So 6.5, that's not bad. All right. So with that being the case, let's go ahead and move on to slugs. Now, this one is where, slugs in particular, they shine. They shine very well. Why is that? Because if you put one of these bitches through a large dog, coyote, wolf, alligator, bear, moose, fucking bucks, think of any large animal almost, maybe not any. Okay, hold on. Let me not, because some of y'all are going to jump in the fucking comments. An elephant, a goddamn hippopotamus. Y'all are going to come out with the largest animals you can think of, and obviously I'm going to be proven wrong. So, but my point is that for the most common nature defense situations, slugs will do the job amazingly. In this particular situation, I give the slug a 10 out of 10. It has the power. It is beefy, and it will deliver the energy needed. So with that being the case, that gives slugs that's a 7. That's a 7. That's a 7 right there. So for mini shells, we're at a 4. Birdshot, 6. Buckshot, 6.5. Slugs, 7. All right. Now remember, guys, this is out of 10. There are going to be 2 points off for capacity. You need a good capacity. All right. No round, in my opinion, is ever really going to be a 10 out of 10, guys. Who knows? We might come across one. But if the question is whether 12 gauge is good for self-defense, the real question should be, what 12 gauge in particular? Birdshot, buckshot, slugs, mini shells. There's so many types of 12 gauge ammo that it is very difficult to pin down when you ask such a vague question like that. So what I can say is, for home defense situations, you're going to want something like buckshot. For hunting, if it's small game, you're going to want something like birdshot. If it's larger game, you're probably going to want something like buckshot or maybe even slugs. So with that being said, I think that about wraps it up for this video. Go ahead and comment your thoughts down below. Let me know what you guys think, if you like 12 gauge round or not. Me personally, I'm a pretty big fan of it. I'm a pretty big fan of it. So with that being said, y'all go ahead and make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that bell. When you hit that bell, hit all. And because you agree with me that the 12 gauge round is pretty fucking cool, all right, go ahead and check out the podcast channel, Adam's channel, Centerfire Podcast, Gun Nut TV. Y'all know what the deal is. Y'all make sure to stay legal, stay safe, stay dangerous. Have a good one, y'all. Peace.